Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Astronaut channel. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe the day has been long, or maybe you simply like to fall asleep with gentle wonder, letting thoughts of faraway places soften the mind. There's nothing you need to do now but rest. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your breathing settle. Let the quiet begin to unfold. Because tonight, we're drifting into orbit, to the peaceful homes humans have built among the stars. We'll explore space stations, where people eat, sleep, study, and dream while circling the Earth in silent freefall. If you find comfort here, consider liking and subscribing. It helps other sleepy travelers find their way. Now, close your eyes. Let the day fade away, and let's begin. Fact 1. A home above the Earth. Long before any station floated overhead, people imagined living among the stars, a quiet room looking down on our blue world. A space station is simply a home in orbit, moving fast enough that it never falls to Earth. It stays there, circling again and again, like a lantern drifting through the night sky. Inside, astronauts float gently, as though carried by a soft and endless dream. They see the world below, without borders, without noise, without hurry. Each sunrise arrives swiftly and silently. In this delicate balance of motion and stillness, a space station becomes more than a machine. It becomes a sanctuary in the sky. And from this sanctuary, more dreams began to form. Fact 2. Visions of orbital cities. Before rockets ever flew, writers and thinkers imagined vast cities in orbit, filled with gardens, music, and families living above the clouds. These early visions weren't technical, they were hopeful. They imagined a place where humanity could rise beyond conflict and division, where we could share a single, endless horizon. Though our stations today are smaller and more humble than those imagined cities, the seed of that dream remains. It lives in every astronaut who sees the Earth turn quietly below. And from dreams, plans soon took shape. Fact 3. The engineers who looked up. In the mid-20th century, engineers and scientists around the world began studying what it would truly take to live in space. They asked simple, essential questions. How do we breathe in orbit? How do we sleep? How do we drink, eat, and stay healthy without gravity? Each question led to another. Slowly, step by step, humans began designing a place where life could continue without weight or ground. It took patience, imagination, and courage to believe such a home was possible. And soon, the first plans became real. Fact 4. The first steps toward the sky. Before a space station could ever float above us, we had to learn how to stay in space at all. Early missions were short, lasting only minutes or hours. Astronauts would launch, look down at Earth, and soon return home. But these moments taught us something essential, that life could survive the journey. Slowly, mission by mission, we learned how the heart changes in weightlessness, how muscles soften, how the mind adapts when up and down no longer exist. Engineers studied each detail, each breath and heartbeat, preparing for longer stays in space. And quietly, a certainty grew. We were nearly ready to live among the stars. And so, the first true home in orbit was imagined. Fact 5. Planning for something that never existed before. To design a space station was to plan for a place no one had ever seen. There were no blueprints from history, no ancient architecture to guide the builders. Every decision had to consider the silence of vacuum, the absence of gravity, the endless sunlight and endless darkness. Rooms could not be arranged by floors, because there are no floors in orbit, only space, with handrails to guide drifting bodies. Air, water, food, and warmth had to be provided carefully, without waste. Even the smallest mistake could echo across the station. And yet, this challenge was also beautiful, a chance to rethink what a home could be when it floats freely above the world. Soon, imagination became structure. Fact 6. Salyut, the first station. In 1971, humanity placed its first true space station into orbit. It was called Salyut, meaning salute, as if greeting the cosmos with a gentle wave. Salyut was small, quiet, and experimental, a single room floating high above Earth. The astronauts who lived there were pioneers of a new kind of existence. They learned how to fix equipment while drifting, how to sleep inside small, cocoon-like sleeping bags, how to share laughter when no one could fall over. The station was modest, but it proved something extraordinary. Humans could live in space for days and then weeks. Salyut was the opening chapter, a quiet beginning to a vast story still unfolding today, and new stations soon followed. Fact 7. A quiet room in orbit. Life aboard Salyut was simple, gentle, and careful. Astronauts floated through a single pressurized room, a small sanctuary suspended above the spinning Earth. Everything had to be secured, from spoons to notebooks, because in microgravity, even a breath of air could send objects drifting away. There were no footsteps, no chairs, no sense of standing or sitting. Instead, movement felt like gliding through warm water, slow and effortless. Outside the station walls, there was the vast silence of space, an absolute stillness so complete that Earth itself seemed to whisper in comparison. And yet, inside, there was life, measured, delicate, and extraordinarily calm. From this gentle beginning, the art of living in space began to grow. Fact 8. Learning to live without weight. Weightlessness is not just floating. It is a complete shift in how the body understands itself. Muscles relax, bones release their heaviness, and the inner ear loses its sense of direction. Astronauts on early stations had to learn new ways to move, to sleep, and even to smile. A simple motion, like turning to look at something, could send the body spinning slowly, like a leaf drifting on a quiet pond. Over time, astronauts discovered that movement in space is more like thought than effort. A gentle push with a fingertip is enough to guide the body across a room. This graceful, drifting motion became the language of life in orbit. And soon, we would build larger homes to float within. Fact 9. The Mir station's long journey. In 1986, a new station began its life in orbit, Mir, whose name means peace and also world. Mir was not launched all at once, but piece by piece, like a growing branch stretching into the sky. Over the years, new modules were added, forming a connected structure that astronauts could explore like a small floating neighborhood. Crews lived there for months at a time, studying how the human heart, mind, and spirit respond to long stretches away from Earth. They watched storms sweep across oceans, saw cities glow like constellations, and experienced sunrise 16 times every day. Mir taught us that space could be not just a destination, but a home, one that changes those who live within it. And from Mir, an even greater station would one day rise. Fact 10. A place of experiments and sunrises. On Mir, life settled into a quiet rhythm shaped by science and the constant turning of the Earth. Astronauts conducted experiments on plants, crystals, metals, and the human body, each test revealing how life behaves without the pull of gravity. Outside, the world passed below in soft blues, greens, and swirls of cloud. Every 90 minutes, the station moved into sunrise, the horizon blooming with pink and gold. Then, just as gently, sunset would arrive again, the Earth's curve glowing like a slow ember, fading into night. Days were not counted by clocks, but by this endless cycle of light and shadow, rising and falling like a sigh. And in that shifting glow, a new era of cooperation began. Fact 11. The dream of shared space. As nations continued to explore space, a quiet realization grew. No single country needed to explore the stars alone. The challenges of orbit, of life support, research, construction, and travel were enormous. But shared, they became possible. Scientists, engineers, and astronauts from different countries began planning a station that would belong not to one nation, but to humanity itself. This dream was gentle in spirit and grand in scale. A place where languages mingled, where flags floated side by side, where the view of Earth reminded everyone that our planet is one single fragile home. This dream was the seed of the International Space Station, and soon, the first pieces would rise into orbit. Fact 12. Pieces launched, one by one. The International Space Station was not launched as a single structure. Instead, it was built in orbit, like assembling a house while already living in the sky. The first module, named Zarya, meaning dawn, was sent into space in 1998. One by one, additional modules followed. Living quarters, laboratories, solar arrays, and long truss structures. Each piece arrived on the wings of different rockets from different nations. Astronauts performed spacewalks to link them together, bolt by bolt, cable by cable, shaping a home that expanded slowly, almost organically, like a flower opening in sunlight. As the station grew, so did our confidence in living among the stars, and soon it became a world of its own. Fact 13. A station grown in orbit. As more modules were added, the International Space Station began to take on its familiar shape. Long solar wings stretching outward like arms, a central truss like a spine, and clusters of interconnected rooms forming a slow-floating labyrinth. Unlike buildings on Earth, the ISS did not have an up or down. Every wall could be a floor, every ceiling a pathway. Astronauts learned to navigate not by walking, but by gliding hand over hand along gentle rails. With each new piece, the station became more than a machine. It became a shared achievement, something built not for one place or one people, but for the entire Earth beneath it. And with its shape complete, its purpose expanded. Fact 14. A symbol of cooperation. The ISS orbits above every border, every language, every coast, and every city. When astronauts look down, they do not see nations. They see a single world, wrapped in clouds and sunlight. On board, crew members speak different native languages, come from different cultures, and carry different histories. Yet in the quiet halls of the station, they eat at the same table, work on the same experiments, and share the same view. The ISS stands as one of the most peaceful collaborations ever created, a place where humanity does not compete, but cooperates. In the calm of orbit, old divisions soften, replaced by a gentle sense of shared belonging, and life inside continues with quiet routine. Fact 15. Orbiting at 17,500 miles per hour. Though the station looks serene in the night sky, it moves at astonishing speed. Roughly 17,500 miles per hour, fast enough to circle Earth in just 90 minutes. Yet inside, astronauts feel no rush, no wind, no motion. They float in perpetual freefall, as if resting in an endless exhale. Outside, continents drift beneath like watercolor paintings. Oceans shimmer like blue silk. Deserts glow gold, and rose in the sun. The station is always moving, yet life inside unfolds slowly, gently. Meals prepared with care, conversations drifting softly between modules, footsteps replaced by the whisper of hands guiding motion. And through this quiet speed, the journey continues, ever onward. Fact 16. Modules like rooms in the sky. The International Space Station is made of many connected modules, each one like a softly rounded room floating in the dark. Some are laboratories filled with gentle fans that keep air moving and tiny experiments that drift without gravity. Others are living spaces where astronauts eat, laugh, and rest. Inside the modules, there are handrails on every surface, because in weightlessness, any direction can become the way forward. The rooms are small, but they feel warm and familiar, filled with floating notebooks, tethered tools, and photographs taped to the walls. Even in the silence of space, it feels like a home built by human hands. And from these rooms, the heart of the station expands outward. Fact 17. The long solar wings. Stretching outward from the station are vast solar arrays, delicate, shimmering wings catching sunlight to power everything inside. They are thin, light, and impossibly wide, unfolding like golden leaves in the vacuum. As the station orbits, the arrays slowly rotate to follow the sun, turning with a slow, graceful patience. From Earth's surface, they may look small, but each wing is longer than a city bus, glimmering softly in the sun's quiet fire. These wings drink in light and turn it into warmth, electricity, and life. Without them, the station would fall silent, and connected to them is the strong, steady backbone of the station itself. Fact 18. The backbone. Truss. Running along the length of the station is the truss, a long metal beam that acts like a spine, holding the pieces of the station in balance. Antennas, radiators, and solar arrays attach to it like branches from a quiet tree in the sky. The radiators, wide and pale, release the heat generated inside, glowing softly against the blackness. Without gravity, heat doesn't rise or fall. It simply lingers. So the truss must help guide warmth away, letting the station remain comfortable and calm. Moving across this structure during spacewalks, astronauts seem to stand on nothing at all. Earth a glowing world below, the universe stretching endlessly above. And within this balance of structure and silence, the station continues to drift. Fact 19. Hatches and passageways. The rooms of the space station are connected by round hatches, each one opening like the doorway of a submarine. Passing through them feels a little like floating from one bubble into another. There is no need to push hard or take steps, just a light touch of the hand, and the body glides forward with gentle ease. The air flows softly between modules, carried by quiet fans that never stop running. Without gravity, air does not settle, so these slow currents keep every breath shared evenly across the station. And so, moving from one room to the next becomes a slow, thoughtful ritual, a drifting transition from work to rest, from study to contemplation. Each doorway carries the feeling of passage into a quiet new world. Fact 20. Windows to the Earth below. Among all the features of the space station, perhaps the most beloved is the cupola, a wide-windowed module facing the Earth. Astronauts gather there to watch continents drift beneath like living paintings, oceans shifting in deep blues and silver reflections of sun. At night, the cities glimmer like constellations turned upside down, lights tracing the patterns of human life on a sleeping planet. Storms swirl in soft spirals of cloud, Mountains stretch like gentle shadows. Auroras ripple in green veils that rise like curtains of quiet light. Many astronauts say they could spend hours here, anchored by a footloop, watching the Earth breathe. And in that view, a deep sense of belonging gently rises to one world shared by all. Fact 21. The feeling of floating life aboard the station carries a constant sensation of drifting, as though the body has become light as a sigh. Astronauts don't walk, they glide. There is no falling, no effort to stand, no weight pressing downward. Instead, motion unfolds with grace. A small push from a fingertip sends the body gliding across a room. A gentle spin lingers, like slow dance in air. At first, the sensation is surprising. A world without anchors, without top or bottom. But soon, floating begins to feel natural, like being cradled by the very air itself. Even rest feels different. The body relaxes without pressure, suspended in quiet stillness. And with this new way of being, daily life takes on a peaceful, drifting rhythm. Fact 22. Sleeping. While the world turns sleep in space feels different from sleep on Earth. There is no mattress, no pillow beneath the head, no sheet pulled by gravity. Instead, astronauts sleep inside soft sleeping bags attached to the wall, the ceiling, or wherever feels most comfortable. Because in microgravity, every surface can be a bed. The body floats gently inside the bag, held only by fabric, like being wrapped in a warm cocoon. There's no sensation of sinking or rising, only stillness. Outside the window, the Earth slips by in silence, sunrises and sunsets drifting past again and again. Rest becomes a quiet pause in motion, a deep breath between orbits. And when morning comes, there is no dawn, only the soft return to waking light. Fact 23. Meals that drift. Eating on the space station is a careful, graceful act. Food comes in packets, trays, and small containers designed so that nothing floats away. A spoonful of soup would scatter into tiny droplets, so liquids are sipped through straws from sealed pouches. Solid foods, rice, vegetables, fruits, are lightly moist so they don't crumble into drifting clouds of crumbs. Even a breadcrumb could clog a filter or drift into an instrument. When astronauts eat together, the meal becomes slow and thoughtful, each motion gentle, each bite placed carefully. They may gather around a small table held together by elastic straps, chatting softly as their feet float freely behind them. And in this floating mealtime, the familiar act of sharing food becomes something delicate and serene. Fact 24. Drinking water that moves in spheres. Water behaves like a curious creature in microgravity. Without weight to pull it downward, it forms perfect floating spheres, glimmering like tiny crystal planets. Astronauts can guide these little globes of water with a fingertip, watching them quiver and glide through the air. But if left unattended, they drift silently, clinging to surfaces like dew. To drink, astronauts use flexible pouches with valves, drawing water gently so it doesn't escape. Even hydration becomes a slow, mindful ritual, not rushed, not careless, just attentive and calm. The water that sustains life floats quietly around them, moving only when touched. And from these drifting droplets, daily routines continue with soft, unhurried flow. Fact 25. Brushing your teeth without a sink. Even the smallest routines must be reimagined in space. Brushing your teeth, something so familiar on Earth, becomes a slow and thoughtful ritual among the stars. Astronauts use a small pouch of water to wet their toothbrush, letting a tiny shining bead of water cling to the bristles. Toothpaste is applied carefully, and brushing happens in smooth, floating motions. There is no sink to lean over, no basin for rinsing. Instead, astronauts swallow the toothpaste or wipe it away with a small cloth. The simplicity of the act becomes meditative, a quiet reminder that daily life follows them into orbit, only gentler, only slower. And from these tiny rituals, comfort is woven into the vastness of space. Fact 26. Keeping the body strong in weightlessness. In weightlessness, the body begins to change. Muscles soften without effort to hold them, and bones lose their strength without gravity to press against. To stay healthy, astronauts exercise every day, not to grow stronger, but simply to stay whole. They run on treadmills while gently strapped down, float cycling in place, and use special resistance machines that mimic weight through tension rather than mass. The exercise is steady, focused, and rhythmic, like a daily grounding. Fans hum softly, machines click. Breathing finds a slow cadence. In this drifting world, movement becomes a reminder of the body's connection to Earth. And through motion, the body remembers the planet it came from. Fact 27. Working among stars. For astronauts, work does not feel rushed or crowded. Tasks unfold with careful pace, guided by calm intentions and endless patience. Tools must be tethered, instructions followed thoughtfully, and motions made with grace. Experiments are set up and observed, notes recorded in a slow drift of floating pens and quiet fingertips. There is no clutter of sound, only the soft hum of machines, the breath inside the suit, the gentle whisper of air circulation. Even time feels different. The presence of the Earth outside every window reminds astronauts that their work is part of something large and shared, a story written quietly above the world. And as the Earth turns below, their day continues with soft purpose. Fact 28. Science as a daily rhythm. On the space station, science is not a single task. It is the quiet pulse of every day. Experiments unfold slowly, observed over hours, days, even months. Some test how the human body adapts to floating worlds. Others explore how fire behaves when it cannot rise, how cells divide when nothing pulls them downward, or how plants search for direction when there is none to guide them. Astronauts move carefully, securing each object so it will not drift away, checking results with patience. In this unhurried rhythm, discovery feels like watching something blossom in silence. Knowledge grows like a delicate seed in weightlessness, and this rhythm shapes the flow of life aboard the station. Fact 29. Conserving every drop and breath. Because resupply is rare and precious, nearly everything on the station must be reused. Water is recycled from vapor and breath, from sweat, and even from the moisture exhaled while speaking. The air is cleaned and balanced so carefully that every lungful feels shared, like a quiet communion among the crew. Nothing is wasted, not fuel, not food, not warmth. Systems hum behind panels, working constantly to maintain this delicate atmosphere. In this small, floating world, efficiency is a kind of kindness, a way of caring for each other in a place where resources are finite and precious. And from this care, a quiet respect for life deepens. Fact 30. The comfort of familiar voices from home. Even among the stars, the human heart remains connected to Earth. Astronauts speak with loved ones through calm radio links and video calls, their voices traveling across the sky in soft waves. A message from home can feel like warm sunlight through a window, gentle and steadying. Laughter shared across distance drifts into the station like a small returning breeze. Some astronauts bring music, books, or small personal keepsakes, a photograph taped above a sleeping bag, a favorite snack saved for a quiet moment, a childhood song played while floating near a window. In a place without gravity, these familiar echoes anchor the spirit. And so, even as the station circles endlessly, the heart remembers where it began. Fact 31. Training for a New World astronauts spend years preparing for life in orbit. They study engineering, medicine, geology, and physics. But they also learn simple tasks in unfamiliar ways. How to move gently in microgravity. How to fix equipment while floating. How to maintain calm in silence and confinement. They practice underwater, where motion can mimic the slow drift of space. They rehearse emergency procedures again and again, not out of fear, but out of respect for the environment they will live in. And most importantly, they learn how to support one another. Because a space station is not just a place of science, it is a shared home where patience, kindness, and trust become daily necessities. And with this preparation, they carry Earth's steadiness into orbit. Fact 32. The eyes that watch Earth. Astronauts often say that living on the space station changes the way they see the world. Looking down through the station's windows, they see Earth not as separate nations, but as one gentle, swirling sphere of blue and white. Borders vanish into forests, deserts, rivers, and light. They watch weather patterns unfold like brushstrokes across oceans. Storms spiral like vast flowers, and mountain ranges shadow the horizon in soft gradients of gold. They see day and night sweep over the planet like a slow tide, cities glowing at the edges of darkness. From this quiet vantage point, Earth feels delicate, unified, and endlessly alive. And this view often stays with astronauts long after they return home. Fact 33. Friendships. Formed in orbit. Life aboard the space station brings people together in a way that is rare on Earth. Astronauts share every moment: meals, work, exercise, silence, and awe. They celebrate small things: a birthday, a new experiment completed, a quiet sunrise watched together. In the closeness of the station, there is no room for distance of the heart. Differences gently dissolve into shared routine, shared responsibility, shared wonder. Conversations drift through modules like soft currents about families, memories, hopes, and the world waiting below. The friendships formed here are often lifelong, shaped not by convenience, but by the profound experience of living beyond Earth together. And in this way, the station becomes not just a habitat, but a family in the sky. Fact 34. Celebrations in microgravity. Even in orbit, life is filled with small celebrations. Birthdays, holidays, mission milestones, all are honored in quiet but meaningful ways. A favorite meal might be saved for the occasion, opened slowly and shared among crewmates. Someone may play music through small speakers, letting soft melodies float through the station like a warm breeze. There is no cake that can be sliced in zero gravity, no candles to blow out, but there is laughter, a laughter that drifts through the air, light and gentle, just like everything else up there. And sometimes, celebrations are simply moments spent together at the window, watching the Earth turn in silence. In these shared pauses, joy becomes a gentle companion in the vastness of space. Fact 35. Returning to gravity. Once more. After months of floating free, returning to Earth feels like learning the world again. When astronauts land, gravity greets them like an old friend, but one they must remember how to embrace. Muscles that once moved effortlessly in microgravity must now carry weight. The heart must learn once more to pump blood downward. Feet must learn to stand, to balance, to take steps without drifting. At first, walking feels slow, uncertain, as though the body has grown unfamiliar roots. Many astronauts say they can feel the weight of their own eyelids, their own hands, their own breath. It is a reminder that life on Earth is anchored, grounded in touch, in gravity, in presence, and slowly, strength returns, step by gentle step. Fact 36. Sunrise, every 90 minutes. One of the most remarkable rhythms aboard the space station is the constant cycle of day and night. Because the station orbits Earth so quickly, crew members see about 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every single day. Dawn arrives not gradually, but as a sudden blooming of gold along the horizon, a curved line of light spreading across the edge of the world. Then just as gracefully, night returns, drawing a velvet shadow over oceans and continents. This rhythm is steady, eternal, and silent, a reminder that the world is always turning, always glowing, always alive. Astronauts often pause during these transitions, watching the colors shift through the cupola windows, and each sunrise feels like a whispered promise of new beginnings. Fact 37. Thunderstorms seen from above. From the space station, thunderstorms look like silent flickers of light dancing across the night side of Earth. There is no thunder in space, no air to carry the sound. So the flashes appear like pulses of white and lavender moving through cloud tops. Storms that seem immense on Earth become gentle displays from orbit, like lanterns glowing beneath a blanket. The lightning spreads in branching patterns, illuminating the atmosphere for a brief, breath-like moment. Astronauts often pause to watch these storms, captivated by their quiet beauty. From above, the violence is softened, transformed into something luminous and serene. And just beyond the clouds, the world continues to glow with its own quiet rhythms. Fact 38. Cities like constellations. At night, the Earth becomes a tapestry of lights, each city glowing like a constellation in the dark. Roads form delicate threads, bridges trace luminous arcs, and coastlines curve in gentle golden edges. The station glides silently overhead, and astronauts watch these patterns drift beneath them like messages written in light. It becomes easy to imagine that the world is speaking softly, saying, "Here we are, here we gather, here we live." From orbit, there is no sound of engines, no crowding streets, only the warm shimmer of human presence, gentle and small against the vast night. And in that glowing quiet, the nearness of all people feels unmistakably clear. Fact 39. Auroras, that dance beneath. One of the most breathtaking sights from the station is the aurora, curtains of green, violet, and rose that shimmer through the atmosphere. From Earth, we look up at them. From the station, astronauts look down. The aurora bends and waves like a living river of light, flowing across polar skies. It flickers as if responding to some slow cosmic music, rising and falling with the invisible winds of the solar particles meeting Earth's magnetic field. The colors drift, ripple, soften, and bloom, glowing like silk illuminated from within. Astronauts say the sight feels almost alive, as if the planet is wearing a luminous veil. And watching this quiet dance, the heart finds a gentle awe. Fact 40. The quiet shape of continents. From the space station, continents appear not as political territories, but as gentle natural forms, broad shapes of Earth resting on the surface of a blue planet. The Sahara stretches like a vast golden sea. Australia glows with deep red deserts, and the Amazon spreads like a dark green heartbeat across South America. Mountain ranges rise like soft shadows, their peaks catching the first line of dawn before the plains awaken. Coastlines curve like brushstrokes along the ocean's edge. The world looks peaceful from this height, unified, whole, untouched by borders drawn on maps. Astronauts often stare in silent wonder, absorbing the simplicity of Earth's shape. From above, the planet feels like a single, shared home. Fact 41. Growing crystals in stillness. One of the quiet miracles of the space station is the way crystals form in microgravity. On Earth, gravity pulls on them, shaping their growth. But in orbit, without weight to guide them, crystals grow more slowly, more symmetrically, revealing patterns seldom seen at home. Scientists study these perfect structures to learn how materials form at the molecular level, knowledge that helps medicine, electronics, and new materials on Earth. In the stillness of microgravity, crystals unfold like tiny frozen galaxies, sparkling under soft laboratory lights. The work is calm, exact, and patient, science conducted in a whisper. And through these delicate shapes, new understanding quietly blooms. Fact 42. Studying the human body in space. The human body changes gently, but unmistakably, in the absence of gravity. Muscles soften when they no longer hold weight. Bones release their minerals when they no longer support steps. Fluids shift upward, making the face appear fuller, the legs more slender. The heart works differently, pumping blood without the guidance of downward pull. Astronauts record these changes carefully, measuring everything from sleep cycles to muscle tone to emotional balance. Their bodies become a living study, not just for exploration, but for the future of long journeys deeper into space. The research is quiet, thoughtful, and deeply human, learning how life adapts when lifted from Earth. And with each discovery, we learn how to travel farther, stay longer, and thrive beyond our home world. Fact 43. Flames that become blue. Sphere's fire behaves differently in space. On Earth, flames stretch upward, pulled by rising warm air. But in microgravity, there is no up, and warm air does not rise. Flames form small, round shapes, like glowing blue beads floating in silence. They burn more slowly, more delicately, their color shifting from orange to soft sapphire. These gentle flames help scientists study combustion in its simplest form, a flame without weight or wind. The experiments are conducted with great care, enclosed for safety, observed with patient fascination. Watching a flame float is like watching a tiny star breathe, pulsing quietly in the stillness. And through this soft light, we learn new ways to use fire, safely and wisely, on Earth and beyond. Fact 44. Plants that learn to grow in air. Growing plants in orbit is both science and poetry. Without gravity, roots do not know which way to reach, and leaves do not know where to stretch. So plants follow other cues: light, moisture, touch. Astronauts gently guide seedlings, offering them direction with soft beams of white or red light. Over time, the plants adapt, forming delicate spirals and new shapes. Their leaves float lightly, their stems curve with curiosity. When a plant succeeds in orbit, it is celebrated, not just as a scientific outcome, but as a quiet sign that life can flourish beyond Earth. Sometimes, astronauts even taste the harvest, a crisp leaf of lettuce grown in a garden that floats among the stars. And with each sprout, the possibility of future space habitats grows greener. Fact 45. Understanding materials. Without weight, without gravity, Materials behave in surprising ways. Liquids form perfect spheres. Metals can cool in uniform shapes. Alloys blend more evenly, without heavy elements sinking. These experiments help scientists design stronger, lighter, and more efficient materials for use back on Earth. Materials for medicine, transportation, technology, and energy. On the space station, these processes are watched patiently, observed in slow motion, as though the materials are taking a quiet breath before revealing their secrets. The work is peaceful and precise, guided by soft gliding movements rather than hurried hands. And from these gentle studies, innovation begins. Formed in silence, carried home across the stars. Fact 46. Keeping air perfectly balanced. Inside a space station, air is not taken for granted. It must be created, filtered, watched, and cared for constantly. Machines gently separate oxygen from stored water, releasing it into the cabin in quiet, measured breaths. Carbon dioxide is collected and removed, so the air remains fresh and safe. Fans circulate softly, ensuring that every breath mixes evenly throughout the station. Because in weightlessness, air does not naturally rise or fall. Astronauts sometimes describe the sound of these systems as the heartbeat of the station, a steady, low hum that never stops. In this delicate environment, each breath is shared, a reminder of how precious and fragile life is when floating above the world. And so the station continues to breathe, softly and steadily. Fact 47. Recycling water from breath and vapor. Water aboard the station is so valuable that almost every drop is reclaimed. Moisture from exhaled breath, from showers, from cooking, and even from laundry is collected from the air. Filters and purifiers clean it, molecule by molecule, until it becomes clear, pure, and drinkable once more. Astronauts sometimes say that water on the station has been around the crew many times, in sweat, in steam, in tea, in life itself. There is something deeply poetic in that cycle. Water rising, returning, renewing, all within the quiet shell of a home among the stars. This recycling system allows astronauts to stay in orbit for months, sustained by care and elegant engineering. And through this, the station teaches us how nothing must be wasted. Fact 48. Shielding against radiation. Space is filled with invisible energy, gentle sunlight, and harsher cosmic rays that drift endlessly through the universe. On Earth, our atmosphere and magnetic field protect us, but in orbit, that shield is thinner. The walls of the station are layered with materials that soften the impact of radiation, like a quiet armor surrounding those inside. Water containers are sometimes stored along certain walls because water itself can absorb radiation's touch. Instruments monitor the levels constantly, ensuring safety. Astronauts learn to move thoughtfully, aware of where shielding is strongest. Even in this, there is a feeling of mindfulness, of being held, protected, watched over by design and intention. And the station continues its gentle journey, wrapped in quiet guardianship. Fact 49. Stabilizing the station's spin. Although the space station appears perfectly still as it floats across the sky, it is constantly being balanced and adjusted. Without gravity to anchor it, even the smallest force, a docking spacecraft, a shift of equipment, or a spacewalk can cause the station to rotate. To keep everything steady, small thrusters and gyroscopes work silently in the background. The gyroscopes spin at high speeds, using momentum to hold the station level, like a gentle hand guiding its posture in space. When the balance shifts, they adjust with slow, graceful corrections. This stability allows the station to remain oriented toward the Earth, the Sun, or the stars, depending on what is needed. And so, the station glides, neither drifting freely nor held rigid, but gently balanced between. Fact 50. The art of docking. Gently. When a spacecraft arrives at the space station, the approach is slow, careful, and precise. From Earth, the station is a rushing body of metal, moving at thousands of miles per hour. But to the arriving crew, the docking feels like two feathers drifting together. Thrusters tap gently, aligning the spacecraft's nose to the station's docking port. Cameras and sensors guide the final meters. Inside, astronauts listen for the soft, satisfying click of latches engaging, a quiet handshake across space. Once the seal is formed, air is allowed to flow between the vehicles, equalizing pressure. The hatch opens slowly, and new voices, new faces, and new footsteps, or gentle gliding pushes, join the floating family inside. Fact 51. Stepping into the infinite. Sometimes, astronauts must leave the safety of the station to perform work outside, a spacewalk. They suit up in white, pressurized garments that act as self-contained worlds, complete with oxygen, cooling systems, and communication lines. The moment they step through the airlock, the vastness reveals itself. There is no ground, no horizon, no sound, only the Earth below, immense and glowing, and the universe stretching endlessly above. Astronauts move with slow, deliberate motions, tethered by a single safety line that connects them to the station. Each action is thoughtful, each gesture graceful, and in those moments, the boundary between human and cosmos feels tender, thin, and breathtaking. Out there, the universe does not feel distant. It feels near, like a quiet presence surrounding everything. Fact 52. The tools that float beside you. During a spacewalk, every tool must be secured. A simple wrench, a bolt, even a pen, if left untethered, would drift slowly into the endless dark. So astronauts attach each tool to their suit with small cords and retractable reels. The tools float at their sides like calm, obedient companions, waiting to be guided by a gloved hand. There is no sound when metal touches metal, only the soft vibration of motion felt through the fingertips. Every task takes patience. Every turn of a bolt is slow, thoughtful, and deliberate. In the stillness of space, work becomes a meditation, a steady pulse of intention, and the tools drift alongside like trusted friends, responding quietly to each touch. Fact 53. Repairing the station's skin. The outer surface of the station is like the hull of a ship at sea, always exposed, always weathered, not by wind or waves, but by sunlight, temperature shifts, and tiny particles from space. Sometimes astronauts must repair panels, replace components, or adjust protective shields. They move with the calm precision of caretakers tending to a fragile home suspended between worlds. The metal beneath their hands holds warmth from the sun on one side and deep cold from shadow on the other. They feel neither. Their suits protect them, yet they know it is there. In these careful repairs, there is a sense of stewardship, of maintaining something cherished and shared. The station continues to drift, cared for by the very people it shelters. Fact 54. Gloves against the vacuum. The gloves of a spacesuit are both essential and delicate. They are designed to hold pressure, shield from temperature extremes, and still allow astronauts to move their fingers with precision. Yet tasks that would feel simple on Earth, turning a screw, guiding a cable, securing a latch, become slow, practiced motions. The gloves feel thick and firm, and astronauts often rely on memory rather than sensation. Their fingers grow tired not from weight, but from resistance, the steady push against the suit's internal pressure. Still, they continue, guided by patience, trust in training, and the quiet understanding that every action up here is meaningful. Hands inside gloves, touching nothing, yet interacting with the universe itself. Fact 55. Tethered to a single line of safety. During a spacewalk, each astronaut is connected to the station by a long, flexible tether, a lifeline that ensures they never drift away into the open dark. The tether slides quietly as they move, extending and retracting with each gentle push of their gloved hands. It is strong, secure, and constantly monitored. Even so, astronauts are trained to move slowly, never rushing, always aware of the space around them. The vastness beyond the tether is not frightening, but awe-inspiring, a reminder of how delicate presence can be in an endless universe. With that single line holding them close, astronauts work in calm, patient confidence. And through that simple connection, the station and the human spirit remain linked. Fact 56. Cargo ships from Earth. Everything on the space station must arrive from Earth. Food, clothes, tools, experiments, and sometimes personal comforts tucked into small packages. Robotic cargo ships, such as Cygnus, Progress, HTV, and Dragon, travel the long arc to orbit. They arrive silently, their engines quiet in the vacuum, guided by careful navigation and soft thruster bursts. Some are captured by a robotic arm and guided into place. Others dock themselves with gentle precision. Inside each vessel are reminders of Earth, fresh fruit, handwritten notes, new scientific equipment. Opening a supply ship feels like opening a care package from home, full of both necessities and small joys. And after their mission is done, some of these ships carry away the station's waste, burning gently in Earth's atmosphere, completing a cycle. Fact 57. The sound of a hatch opening. When a new spacecraft docks, there is a moment of anticipation. Astronauts gather near the hatch, listening to the soft clicks and whirs of pressure being equalized between vessels. The station grows still, as though holding its breath. Then slowly, the hatch wheel is turned, locks release, and the door swings open with a quiet sigh of air. New voices float inside. New footsteps, or rather, new gliding bodies, enter the shared space. There are greetings, embraces, laughter that drifts freely in the gentle air. In that moment, the station feels larger, warmer, more alive. A home in orbit grows richer each time a new arrival crosses its threshold. Fact 58. Capsules that carry people home. Returning to Earth from the space station happens inside small capsules designed to shield and guide. These capsules, like Soyuz, Crew Dragon, or Starliner, detach from the station with a quiet push, drifting slowly away before firing engines to begin the long descent. Inside, astronauts lie back in their seats, surrounded by familiar panels and softly glowing instruments. There is a sense of both ending and beginning, a journey home, and a farewell to weightlessness. The capsule falls through layers of atmosphere, heat building outside the protective shell, until parachutes bloom like gentle flowers in the sky. The landing is firm, a reminder of gravity's return. And as the capsule rests upon the Earth, the journey above draws to a peaceful close. Fact 59. The slow ballet of docking. Docking is one of the most delicate dances in space. The spacecraft and the station move at tremendous speed, circling Earth together, yet their meeting must feel calm, almost effortless. Tiny thrusters hiss in pulses, adjusting angles by fractions of a degree. Radar and lasers read distance with quiet precision. Astronauts monitor screens and windows, guiding the approach with steady breaths. There is no rush, no sudden motion, only slow alignment, inch by inch, until two vessels touch and connect. A small vibration passes through the metal, like a sigh of completion. And in that gentle contact, two worlds become one shared home, floating together above the turning Earth. Fact 60. Leaving, and the room growing quiet again. When a crew departs, the station grows still for a moment. Sleeping bags are taken down, personal items are gathered. A last look is given to familiar corners where laughter once floated in air. The departing astronauts glide to the hatch, offering calm farewells to those remaining. The hatch closes with a soft click, and the small craft drifts away, becoming a quiet shape against the deep sky. Inside the station, silence settles, not lonely, but reflective, like the hush of a house after guests have left. The remaining crew continue their gentle routines, their voices soft in the open spaces, and soon new arrivals will come, and the home among the stars will fill with life again. Fact 61. Countries sharing a sky. The International Space Station is a collaboration between many nations, a shared home circling above borders, oceans, and continents alike. Engineers in Russia, scientists in the United States, researchers in Europe, and space agencies from Japan and Canada all contributed to its creation. Each piece of the station reflects cooperation, trust, and shared purpose. Astronauts from many cultures live and work together, speaking different languages, but sharing the same routines and view of Earth. From orbit, the world below is continuous and unified, not separated by lines on maps. The station is a reminder that when we look beyond ourselves, we see how connected we truly are. And up there, peace feels both possible and real. Fact 62. Different languages, one crew. Life aboard the station can sound like music made of many voices. Russian and English are often spoken side by side, along with phrases from Japanese, French, German, Italian, and more. Crew members learn key terms in each other's languages, enough to work together smoothly, enough to share warmth and humor. Laughter sounds the same no matter where it comes from. The meals are shared, the work is shared, the hopes for the mission are shared. Differences blend into curiosity and respect. It is not that language disappears, but that understanding grows larger than words themselves. And in that exchange, the station becomes a place where communication feels gentle, open, and deeply human. Fact 63. Flags, floating together. On Earth, flags are often symbols of identity and pride. On the space station, they float side by side on walls and patches, quiet reminders of the many journeys that join together above the clouds. A flag here does not mark separation. It shows belonging. It honors the hands that built the station, the minds that shaped its purpose, and the hearts that believed in cooperation across the sky. Astronauts often take photos of themselves with their flags, not as statements of division, but as tributes to the invisible thread that connects Earth to its orbiting home. When flags float together in microgravity, they appear weightless, just like the boundaries they once marked. Fact 64. Science without borders. The space station is one of the few places where research is conducted without national ownership. Experiments on board belong to humanity as a whole. Scientists from all over the world send their work into orbit, small capsules of curiosity, each one asking a quiet question of the universe. A study may begin in Italy, be tended by astronauts from the United States and Japan, and analyzed later by researchers in India or Brazil. The discoveries made here are shared, not for one country's advantage, but for our collective understanding. In this peaceful exchange, knowledge becomes something communal, something gentle, something greater than any one nation. The station reminds us that wisdom grows best when shared freely and kindly. Fact 65. The peaceful promise of orbit. The ISS stands as a testament to what humanity can do when cooperation is chosen over competition. For more than 2 decades, it has remained in orbit not as a symbol of power, but of partnership. While Earth experiences noise, conflict, and division, the station moves quietly, tracing soft circles around the globe. Its presence does not demand attention. It simply is, constant, steady, and patient. Astronauts who return to Earth often speak of the overview effect, a shift in perspective that comes from seeing the planet as a single shining whole. From that height, separation feels small, and connection feels profound. The station is not just a machine. It is a quiet wish for peace gently floating above us. Fact 66. The Lunar Gateway. As we look toward the future, space stations will travel farther from Earth, beginning with the Lunar Gateway, a planned home that will orbit the Moon. This station will be smaller than the ISS, but no less meaningful. It will serve as a resting point, a research hub, and a quiet shelter for astronauts exploring the lunar surface. From the gateway, the Earth will appear smaller, like a glowing marble suspended in darkness. Sunrises will unfold slower there, stretched across deep shadow. The journey to reach it will be longer, the silence deeper, the stars clearer. And the lessons learned aboard the ISS, cooperation, patience, care, will guide those who live there as well. From Earth's orbit to the Moon's embrace, our story continues to unfold gently into the night. Fact 67. Stations around the Moon. Future space stations may orbit not just Earth, but the Moon itself. These lunar orbiting homes will circle in long, graceful loops, passing over craters cast in silver shadow and plains of ancient basalt. The Moon has no atmosphere to soften the view. Every ridge, every valley, every footprint will remain untouched, as sharp as the moment it formed. Astronauts aboard these stations will watch 2 worlds at once, the Moon quiet and still beneath them, and the distant Earth rising slowly above the horizon like a delicate blue lantern. Life there will be quieter, more remote, more reflective. And in that quiet distance, humanity will learn how to live gently away from home. Fact 68. Farms in space. As space stations move farther from Earth, they will need to grow more of their own food. Greenhouses in orbit will become gardens floating in artificial daylight. Long rows of leaves drifting upward, roots held in soft beds of nutrients instead of soil. Without gravity, plants respond to light, to touch, to care. Astronauts may spend time each day tending vines, pruning stems, misting small droplets of water that bead into shimmering spheres. These gardens will not just feed the crew, they will comfort them. The sight of something green, something living, something quietly growing, will remind them of Earth's fields and forests. And in the soft rustle of leaves, the heart will find a familiar peace among the stars. Fact 69. Greenhouses in orbit. Already, small greenhouses have been tested aboard the ISS. Glowing towers filled with lettuce, radishes, and tiny blooming flowers. These experiments teach us how plants respond to life without gravity, how they curl, how they anchor themselves, how they search for direction where none exists. LED lights cast gentle hues of rose and violet across their leaves, turning the greenhouse into a soft-lit sanctuary. The plants sway slowly with air currents, as though dreaming. Astronauts often check them not just as scientists, but as companions, grateful for their quiet presence. Sometimes a crew will harvest and share the result, a single bite of something crisp and living, grown in orbit. And that taste carries with it the memory of Earth, vivid, tender, unmistakably precious. Fact 70. Hospitals in microgravity. In the future, space stations may include small medical bays designed to treat injuries and study health under conditions impossible to recreate on Earth. Without gravity, fluids move differently through the body. The heart works with less effort, bones release their minerals, and healing follows unfamiliar patterns. Doctors in orbit will learn how to care for patients whose bodies are floating, whose sense of balance has softened, whose blood moves more freely toward the head. Medical tools will be tethered, medicines carefully measured to prevent drifting droplets, and scans performed in serene slow motion. A hospital in microgravity will be quiet, gentle, and deeply attentive, a place where healing feels like floating through warm light. And these lessons will help us care for travelers journeying farther into the night. Fact 71. Private astronauts. As space travel becomes more accessible, not all visitors to space stations will be career astronauts. Some will be researchers, teachers, artists, or curious explorers, people who have trained, prepared, and learned how to move with kindness in microgravity. They will come not only to conduct experiments, but to experience the quiet wonder of orbit. These private astronauts will feel the same awe when they first see Earth rise beneath them, the same gentle surprise when their bodies float effortlessly, the same soft joy when sharing a meal drifting in air. Their presence will broaden the story of space, making it more human, more diverse, more filled with personal meaning. And the station will continue to welcome them, a home among stars shared with all who dream of reaching it. Fact 72. Tourists. Learning to float. Space tourism will not be hurried or loud. It will be careful, mindful, and deeply guided. Visitors will learn how to move without rushing, how to breathe calmly when the body forgets what down means, how to hold on to handrails with gentle fingers. Their first steps inside a station will be more like glides, their first meal eaten with fascination, their first night spent drifting in a sleeping bag that does not rest on anything at all. Some will cry softly at the sight of Earth turning beneath them. Others will fall quiet, overwhelmed by beauty. In microgravity, even emotions seem to float. And these travelers will carry the memory home, a reminder of how small, precious, and interconnected our world truly is. Fact 73. Studios in orbit. In the near future, space stations may host small, creative studios, places where artists, filmmakers, and musicians can express the feeling of floating among the stars. In microgravity, paint moves differently, sound behaves differently, and the body itself becomes part of the art. A brush stroke might become a drifting ribbon of color, suspended in air. A photographer could capture Earth's curve framed by a window, a portrait lit by sunlight filtered through solar panels. Even music takes on a new tone. No floors, no ceilings, only the resonance of calm breathing and soft vibrations through handrails. These studios will let humans share not just the science of space, but the emotion of living there And through art, orbit becomes more than research. It becomes storytelling. Fact 74. Hotels among the stars. Commercial space stations may one day include small, peaceful accommodations, cabins with wide windows facing Earth, where guests drift gently to sleep in private sleeping cocoons. These hotels will not resemble luxury suites, but something quieter. Safe, simple retreats in orbit. Visitors may spend their days learning how to move in microgravity, watching continents drift beneath them, sipping warm drinks that float inside pouches, and journaling slow thoughts while suspended in air. Nights will be softer still, the planet glowing below, clouds shifting like white dreams across oceans, dawn arriving again every 90 minutes. These stays will not be about entertainment, but perspective, a deep and tender encounter with the fragility of Earth. And those who return will carry new gentleness home with them. Fact 75. Earth's first neighborhood in space. As more stations appear, scientific, commercial, creative, medical, orbit will slowly become a small neighborhood in the sky. Each station will serve a different purpose, yet all will be connected by shared travel paths, communication networks, and the quiet understanding that they exist because humanity chose exploration over distance and division. Cargo ships will drift between them like slow-moving delivery vans. Crews may visit neighboring stations, sharing stories, supplies, experiments, and friendship across the silence of space. Just as towns and communities form on Earth, a culture will grow in orbit, patient, cooperative, and deeply aware of the miracle of home. This neighborhood will not feel crowded, but calm, suspended in the quiet embrace of the stars. Fact 76. Homes for the journey to Mars. To travel to Mars, astronauts will need a space station not tied to Earth's orbit, a home that moves with them through months of deep space. These stations will be quieter, more self-sustaining, and more carefully balanced than any built before. Their walls will hold recycled air, reclaimed water, and stored warmth, all shared among a small crew living far from any rescue. Daily routines will become steady anchors, waking, tending plants, maintaining systems, exercising, watching through windows as distant stars remain unchanged. The journey will be long, patient, and guided by trust. A home for Mars travel will not simply shelter the body, it will protect the heart, reminding each traveler that even in deep space, they are never truly alone. And with that promise, the road to new worlds begins. Fact 77. Radiation, shelters made of water. Beyond Earth's protective magnetic field, space is filled with radiation that gently, invisibly moves through the void. To shield astronauts on long journeys, future stations may use water walls, thick reserves of water lining sleeping areas and safe rooms. Water, so familiar and humble, is one of the most effective protectors against cosmic rays. It can absorb and soften the touch of high-energy particles. In these shelters, astronauts will sleep surrounded by the quiet presence of water, the same element that once filled oceans on Earth. The sound of soft pumps circulating it may become like a distant heartbeat, steady and calming. In the vastness of deep space, it is touching to know that water, something gentle and fluid, will keep us safe. Fact 78. Artificial gravity rings. Long journeys may also use rotating habitats, circular rooms that spin slowly to create a gentle pull underfoot, mimicking gravity. Inside, astronauts could walk again, feel weight beneath their steps, rest their hands on a table without it drifting upward. The rotation would be slow enough to be calming, like a carousel turning under starlight. Windows might look out on the silent dark, where stars do not twinkle. They simply shine, steady and eternal. The return of gravity, even partial and soft, would remind travelers of Earth, of standing, of grounding, of belonging. These rings will be like small echoes of home, gently circling through infinite night. Fact 79. Modular habitats that grow. Future space stations may not be launched all at once, but built like slowly growing gardens in the sky. These habitats will begin as a few essential rooms, connected gently by tunnels and passageways. Over time, new modules will be added: research wings, greenhouses, quiet sleep quarters, small gathering spaces filled with warm light. Each addition will feel like placing another stone in a pathway, expanding not just the station's size, but its sense of home. The station will grow in response to the people who live there, adapting to their needs, dreams, and rhythms. It will not be a fixed structure, but a living, changing place, shaped by human presence, human intention, and human care. And in this slow expansion, life beyond Earth will feel more natural, more familiar, more human. Fact 80. Learning to live far from Earth. Living far from Earth requires a gentle shift in the heart. Astronauts on deep space stations will look out their windows and see not continents and oceans, but stars, endless, steady, and silent. Earth will be a tiny blue glow, distant but constant, like a memory resting softly in the sky. Communication with home will take longer, and the familiar voices of loved ones may arrive with pauses between words. In that distance, the crew will turn toward each other for comfort, laughter, guidance, and warmth. They will form routines that calm the mind: shared meals, tending plants, quiet storytelling, watching the sunrise unfold across the moon or Mars. And in that far horizon, humanity will learn the quiet art of belonging anywhere, even among the stars. Fact 81. The quiet moments between tasks. Life aboard any space station, whether near Earth or deep in space, is shaped not only by work, but by stillness. There are moments when tasks are complete, experiments are stable, and the station drifts quietly through shadow. In these pauses, astronauts may float near a window, watching the universe unfold in silence. They may listen to soft music, read slowly, or simply breathe, feeling the gentle suspension of their bodies. These quiet moments are precious, small sanctuaries where the heart can reflect, release, and rest. In the stillness, the vastness of space feels close but not overwhelming, like a deep, peaceful ocean surrounding the station. And within that silence, the soul remembers itself. Fact 82. Looking out the cupola window. The cupola is often described as the heart of the space station, a wide, many-paned window shaped like a gentle dome facing the Earth. Astronauts float there with their feet tucked into small footholds, letting their bodies drift while they watch the world move silently below. Clouds swirl over oceans like brush strokes of white. Continents glow gold at sunrise. Storms flicker softly with distant light. Sometimes an astronaut will visit the cupola at night, turning off the module lights so the stars become bright and endless. It is a place for reflection, a quiet balcony in the sky. And from that window, the Earth feels alive, familiar, and deeply loved. Fact 83. Music. Drifting through the station. Music plays differently in space. With no floors or ceilings, sound isn't anchored, and so melodies float as gently as the astronauts themselves. A guitar chord may resonate through the module like a warm wave. A flute's notes may feel like soft ribbons drifting through the air. Some astronauts bring favorite songs from home. Others create their own music in orbit, inspired by the steady hum of ventilation fans and the silent turning of Earth below. Sometimes the crew will gather for a shared listening, a moment of calm unity, eyes closed, bodies floating. Music becomes not just sound, but comfort, a way to feel held in an environment without gravity. And in those soft notes, the station becomes a place of quiet belonging. Fact 84. Messages sent to loved ones. Even among the stars, the human heart reaches home. Astronauts send messages to loved ones through emails, video calls, and small recorded notes. Words drifting across the sky on radio waves. Time differences and schedules can make conversations slow, but this only makes each moment more precious. A familiar voice can bring warmth deeper than sunlight. A shared memory can feel like a hand held gently from afar. Some astronauts read bedtime stories to their children from orbit. Others record greetings to be opened later, like small gifts waiting for return. These messages remind everyone, in orbit and on Earth, that distance cannot diminish love. Fact 85. The memory of Earth's breeze. While living on the space station, astronauts often remember the small sensations of Earth. Things so ordinary, they once passed unnoticed. The feeling of wind moving across the face, the warmth of sunlight filtered through leaves, the sound of rain, steady and familiar. In orbit, there is no breeze, no weather, no deep chorus of life echoing in the air. The memory of these things becomes tender, vivid, almost dreamlike. Astronauts sometimes close their eyes while looking at Earth, imagining the scent of forests or oceans below. Longing does not feel heavy, only gentle, like the heart recalling something beloved. And when they return home, the first breath of open air feels like a gift beyond measure. Fact 86. Preparing the body for gravity. Before returning to Earth, astronauts begin adapting their bodies for gravity again. Their exercise routines become more focused, muscles encouraged to remember weight, bones supported with extra care. They discuss with medical teams what will happen upon landing. The sudden heaviness of limbs, the effort required to stand, the way the heart must work harder to pump blood downward. They pack their personal items with quiet intention, knowing that soon they will no longer float. There is excitement, yes, but also reflection. The return is not just physical, but emotional. They are leaving a home in the sky, and as they prepare, the station continues to cradle them, orbiting peacefully in its eternal path. Fact 87. Re-entry and the fire of return. Re-entry is a journey back through Earth's protective embrace. As the spacecraft descends, the thin upper atmosphere begins to brush against it, creating heat. A soft, glowing shield of fire that surrounds the capsule. Inside, astronauts remain calm, listening to the quiet hum of systems, feeling again the certainty of downward motion. Parachutes unfold like great blossoms in the sky, slowing the fall, guiding the craft toward land or sea. When the capsule touches Earth, even gently, the body feels weight return like an old memory arriving all at once. Knees tremble, muscles hold. The ground is solid, warm, familiar. And in that moment, the traveler has returned, changed, humbled, and quietly full of wonder. Fact 88. Walking on Earth. Again, when astronauts first step out of the capsule, gravity feels both familiar and astonishing. The body, which has spent weeks or months floating freely, now holds weight again, The gentle heaviness of arms, the grounding of feet touching soil. Muscles may tremble, not from weakness, but from surprise. Everything feels dense, full, and real. Some astronauts describe the sensation as being hugged by the Earth. The air carries scents: grass, dust, ocean, rain, things the station could not give. The world is loud with life: birds, wind, distant voices. These sounds feel rich, layered, deeply comforting. It takes time to walk smoothly again, but each step is a quiet homecoming. Fact 89. Relearning the rhythm of life below. After returning from orbit, daily life can feel slower, yet more meaningful. Sitting at a table, eating a meal that does not float, feeling bedding rest against the body, these ordinary experiences become tender and new. The simple act of reaching for a glass of water and setting it down without it drifting away feels like rediscovery. Astronauts often speak about needing time to adjust to choices, to stand or sit, to lift something instead of guide it, to use gravity again as a companion. They move carefully, with deep awareness of every motion. And as days pass, the body remembers. Muscles strengthen, balance returns, footsteps grow steady. But the perspective gained does not fade. The world remains more connected, more precious, more alive. Fact 90. The emotional echo of orbit. Long after their return, astronauts carry a quiet reflection in their hearts, a memory of watching Earth float beneath them, whole and glowing. Some describe it as a constant softness in the mind, a gentle awareness that everything is interconnected. Cities are no longer separate. They are lights in one shared darkness. Nations are not borders. They are families living on the same fragile sphere. The sky feels less distant, the stars more familiar. Many astronauts say they feel more patient, more grateful, more at peace. The world has not changed, but they have. The overview effect becomes a quiet companion, guiding thoughts, choices, kindness. Fact 91. Dreams. Remember the stars. After returning to Earth, astronauts often dream of floating. Their bodies, so recently unbound, remember weightlessness not as absence, but as freedom. In dreams, they glide through modules again, drifting from window to window, watching continents pass beneath them in peaceful silence. The mind replays these moments like lullabies, slow, drifting, quiet. Even months later, the sensation may return during sleep. The gentle lift of the chest, the ease of movement, the feeling of being held not by gravity, but by space itself. These dreams are not sad or longing. They are soft, like memories rocking on a calm tide. And in waking, those memories stay, gentle reminders of wonder. Fact 92. The station continues its orbit. Even as crews change, experiments finish, and years pass, the space station continues circling the Earth. It orbits silently, patiently, like a lantern drifting through darkness. More than 2 decades have passed since its first pieces joined in orbit, and still it moves above us, a constant symbol of cooperation and curiosity. Every 90 minutes, it watches a sunrise bloom along the horizon. Every 90 minutes, it watches night return like a soft blanket. The station sees our storms, our lights, our seasons. It sees our oceans shimmer and our forests breathe. It does not judge or choose sides. It simply witnesses the Earth living below, ever turning, ever changing. Fact 93. The legacy of a home in space. The impact of the space station reaches far beyond its steel framework and glowing solar panels. It has taught us how to live without gravity, how to heal and grow in orbit, how to cooperate across oceans and cultures, It has shown us that home is not defined by soil or distance, but by care, presence, and connection. The knowledge gained there will inspire future habitats around the moon, on Mars, and perhaps beyond. Yet even as humanity travels farther, the station will remain our first shared home among the stars, a place where we learn to breathe gently in the dark. Its legacy is not only scientific, it is deeply human. Fact 94. The station as a quiet teacher. The space station is many things: a laboratory, a shelter, a symbol of cooperation. But it is also a teacher. It teaches patience, because every motion must be slow. It teaches respect, because every resource is precious. It teaches presence, because the stars and the Earth are always right outside the window, reminding everyone aboard of the vastness they inhabit. Astronauts learn to listen to the hum of air systems, to the soft clicking of tools, to one another's voices. They learn that silence does not mean emptiness. It means space to think, to feel, to understand. In this way, the station does not simply host humanity, it gently shapes it, and the lessons it teaches return to Earth in quiet, thoughtful hearts. Fact 95. The sunlight that comes and goes. Sunlight behaves differently in orbit. Without atmosphere, it arrives pure and direct, bright, clean, almost silver white. It sweeps across the station in sudden dawns, flooding modules with a radiant glow. Then just as quickly, the station slips into shadow behind the Earth, and night returns, not dim, but deep, rich, velvet dark. In that darkness, the stars are not pinpoint glimmers, but steady, silent companions. Astronauts become attuned to this rhythm. Light, shadow, light, shadow. Every 90 minutes, a breath of day and night. The alternation is soothing, like waves rolling against a quiet shore. It reminds those in orbit that time is not something we keep. It is something we travel through gently. Fact 96. The station as a human story. Beyond technology, beyond experiments, beyond engineering, the space station is a story about people. Thousands of minds and hands on Earth, and hundreds of lives who have floated within its walls. Every bolt, every panel, every experiment was placed there by someone with hope, curiosity, and care. Every astronaut carries memories of childhood wonder, of imagining the stars before ever touching them. The station is the result of generations dreaming together, cultures, languages, and histories all woven into one quiet place above the world. It is proof that humanity is capable of beauty, born from unity, persistence, and gentle belief. And as it continues to circle our planet, that story continues, unfolding, evolving, beginning again with each new visitor. Fact 97. The station as a beacon in the night. Sometimes, far below on Earth, someone looks up at the evening sky and sees a small, bright point of light moving steadily among the stars. That light is the space station, reflecting sunshine as it glides overhead. It appears calm, unhurried, peaceful, a soft reminder that there are people living up there, sleeping, working, laughing, watching the same world from above. Families wave, knowing loved ones are on that light. Others simply watch, feeling awe, comfort, curiosity. The station becomes a quiet companion to the night, a lantern of human presence floating across the dark. And each pass overhead reminds us that we are connected to something larger than ourselves. Fact 98. Passing over. Every place on Earth. The station does not favor any one region, border, or nation. In its silent orbit, it passes over deserts, cities, forests, oceans, mountains, and quiet stretches of countryside. It watches monsoons in the south, snowfall in the north, sunrises at the equator, and long twilight at the poles. It sees humanity's lights glow in patterns of community and connection. For those who live aboard, the world is seen not in parts, but in wholeness. One continuous living sphere. From orbit, there is no us and them. There is only home. And that view gently reshapes the heart. Fact 99. The station will not last forever. One day, the station's mission will come to an end. Some parts may be brought back to Earth. Others retired gently into the atmosphere, burning like a soft shooting star. But its legacy will not disappear. The knowledge, the friendships, the understanding of how to live in peace above the world, these will continue. New stations will rise. New explorers will carry forward its lessons. The space station will have been the first home where humanity learned to live beyond the Earth itself, together. And its memory will linger like starlight long after the light has moved on. Fact 100. A home among the stars. More than metal, more than science, more than orbit. The space station is a testament to the quiet, extraordinary truth that we are capable of caring for one another across vast distances. It is a home we built not on land, but in possibility. A home that speaks softly of curiosity, courage, and connection. It shows us that even in darkness, we can create light. Even far from Earth, we can carry warmth. Even among the stars, we can belong. And it reminds us that our journey has only just begun. And as our journey comes to a gentle close, I hope you found a bit of calm among the stars tonight. If you enjoyed drifting through these sleepy facts, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and comment below what topic you'd love to fall asleep to next. When you're ready to keep dreaming, tap the end screen to watch the next Sleepy Astronaut video and continue your quiet voyage through the universe. Sweet dreams, and see you among the stars.